And welcome back, everybody. Yeah, our last guest. It's funny how time flies when you're having fun. So we're here already. Our last guest is the Chief Medical Officer of SOMOS Community Care, and she joins us to highlight how her organization is raising awareness on diabetes, provide tips and tricks on in improving health habits, and much more. So please welcome to the show, Dr. Yomaris Peña. Dr. Peña, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful week.
Yeah. Can I call you my friend Yomi?
You could call me Yomi if
Dr.
you behave
Yomi.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yomi is my homie. I've heard that one a lot.
yeah. Yomi, you're doing so many wonderful things in our community. Tell us how it all started and tell us what you're doing with Somos.
So I'm the Chief Medical Officer at SOMOS Community Care, and SOMOS Community Care is a huge organization, 2,500 providers all over New York State, where we take care of the patients that unfortunately don't speak the language or the main language that we do in the United States. We take care of everybody in
Yeah.
general, but mainly we're culturally sensitive and we speak the language and understand the culture. So what does that mean? Those 2,500 providers out there, they own their practices, mainly are community-based physicians or providers, where they have a big panel of patients. The patients feel comfortable. It's almost like a home where we bring preventive care. We take care of 1.2 million New Yorkers. So I think that's a lot of people,
That's
right?
a lot of people.
And yeah, a lot of people. And we're trying to now in this new phase where we're moving along after we spent all these years of COVID, and people out there know us as the team that went out to the streets and created screening centers for
Yeah.
the community. We did also vaccinations. We feeded the population because, believe it or not, in New York State or New York City, one of the best cities in the world during those 2 years was hungry, and we saw that in the population. So we helped through giving millions of meals, and after that came, and now it's the new phase of all of this, which is the recovery phase, which is the let's go out there and continue being healthy because we forgot how to do preventive care for 2 years, not
Yeah.
us physicians but the patients, right? So the patients were very scared of coming out to the offices or going into any of the hospital settings. And that placed a negative stigma into our preventive work. Why? Because if you were diabetic, you didn't go in to get your check of your kidneys and your hemoglobin A1C and your blood work for almost a year or a year and a half when you know that you need to have regular checkups in order to prevent complications down the road.
Yeah.
Or if you're a woman, you didn't want to go in and get your mammograms because of the risk of being infected in the hospital. And we know we need to obtain these mammograms after the age of 40 in populations that are female.
Is that all straightened out now? I mean, it was a stigma. I didn't want to go to the hospital because I'm going to go in there and catch something. But is it clear now, or we still have to be
Yeah,
cautious or
it's
optimistically?
dissipating. Yeah, it's dissipating, and people are educated now that if they feel sick, they don't go into places, or most of them,
Right.
because you're always going to have those that don't believe in anything and they don't even understand how the dynamics of keeping a healthy community works. But I would say that most of the population has been very receptive, and now they understand and they don't feel scared as before. They go in. The problem that we're having in the big systems is that it's getting overloaded in terms of the back cases, right? So if you had a mammo or a colonoscopy that was supposed to be done 1 year ago, you appointment 3-4 months down the road, right?
Yeah.
But not in the practices. The practices do have space for patients on a regular need for primary care.
So you're screening now. The other day you were out there and you had a huge line and people came in. And how many people did you screen or test?
We screen more than 400 plus patients, almost 500. Yeah, in this fair.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful event where we were in the Bronx, Ostos Community College.
Yeah.
Thousands of people went into the place, and it was mainly about education. SOMOS provided screening of diabetes, screening of high blood for blood pressure, just
Yeah.
to screen and make sure that if you had high blood pressure, you were taking your medications. And if you didn't know that you had high blood pressure, to follow up and give you recommendations on how to address these issues. And we also did vaccinations in regards of the flu vaccine and the COVID boosters.
So, Dr. Pena, there's a trinity of viruses out there. There's that the RSV, of course, the upper respiratory flu, and COVID. What are we doing about that? And
So basically, when you have patients in these big fairs that you suspect that they have any type of symptoms,
yeah,
or let's say they come into the clinic, you have to start doing all this workup just to make sure that they do not have any of them. So in these fairs, you could always test for COVID. If they're COVID negative, then you just send them either, depending on the symptoms, to the hospital or to the urgent care clinic
yeah.
or to the primary care doctor. I think, yeah.
Now, does any of this exacerbate the person who has diabetes?
So yeah, if you are sick with any of these illnesses and you already have diabetes, this places you in a risk stratification where you become a high risk patient for developing, let's say, pneumonia, which is
Yeah.
an infection of the lungs. You could also develop sepsis, which is an overwhelming infection. Your diabetes could get out of control.
Yeah.
So it's a negative cycle that needs to be cut because a patient with diabetes has a low immunity and therefore has more propensity to getting sick or sicker than regular population.
Yeah. What are some of the things that we can do to help prevent? I know you can't prevent diabetes type 1, but type 2, we can do some things to try to help us out, right?
Right. So now we are bringing awareness into what we eat. I always tell patients,
Yes.
whenever you're diagnosed with prediabetes or diabetes, you have to think about three things, right? So number one, am I moving enough? Am I being active? Because if you stop moving, that's when problems start. So first, starting to understand how and what's your overall activity status. Number two, and the most important, I believe this should be number one, is how do I eat? What do I eat? Educate yourself in terms of the carbohydrates, because at the end of the day, that's what diabetes is an overload of glycemia or glucose inside of your blood. And it's just like going in a very jammed highway where all the cars are going together very close and they have no space to go. If you lack insulin or you're resistant to the insulin, which is the hormone that
Yeah.
allows the glucose to go inside of the cells, that's when you start developing type 2 diabetes, and it has multiple complications.
Yeah.
So, and number three, I would say, once you know about your nutrition status, once you know about your movement status, then number three, have a very close conversation with your physician, your primary care provider,
Yeah.
because that's the person that is going to guide you through if you need any medications to decrease the sugar levels or if
Yeah.
you need medications to lose weight, because they're hand to hand.
That's very important. I got 30 seconds left. The glycemic index, how important is that, briefly?
Well, the glycemic index, it's something that you need to be aware because there's so many carbohydrates that are complex and are going to be burned in a very slow way that will keep your body satisfied with the essentials nutrients that you need. In this
Yes.
case, the glucose that you need to burn throughout the process that you need during the day, right? Versus if you have really poor carbohydrates that will
Mhm.
burn fast, you're going to have insulin spikes that are going to create a complete chaos inside of your metabolism. It slows down every single aspect of your cellular process. It
Yeah.
slows you down. It accumulates fat. And then you feel that fogginess and fatigue,
Yeah.
and everything just goes down from there.
Doctor, thank you so much. Your wealth of information, you got to come back again. You're always welcome.
Yeah, whenever you guys want me, I'll be here.
There you go. My house is your house. In Spanish, you say it that
Bye,
way
guys.
too. Yeah. Hey, listen, Dr. Yomaris Peña, the Chief Medical Director, SOMOS. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. I want to thank our guests for joining us, you, our viewers, for tuning in and checking it all out. You got to follow us on BronxNet TV for continued coverage. And I want to thank you for being right here each and every time we come on. Join our hosts, Kevin Arlene and Darren Jaime and Rena Valentin on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's for all new episode of Open. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice. Let your choice control the chooser. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and I'll catch you another day, another way, and I'll see you over 107.5 WBLS. I love you all. Peace.